Hello, and welcome to yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. Scott here, and I'm back after a bit of a delay. There's been certain things that have been going on personally that have, gotten in the way of me recording videos as frequently as I'd like. But what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be recording several videos back to back while I have the time today. I do not have a front-facing camera set up. That is usually done by my cell phone, and it does a brilliant job of it, but I need my phone available right now. I'm expecting a rather important phone call. My daughter, Taylor, and she recently fractured her elbow in a scooter accident, and just awaiting some important callbacks from her doctors, and don't want to occupy my phone as a camera and take a chance of missing those. So, enough of my personal nonsense, and I'm sure that's why you came here, right? But no, we are here to do another unboxing. So I reached out on Twitter, and I have a few that are in the backlog here of things that I'd like to open and take a look at and get a first impression of. And so rather than just pick one, I'm going to be doing several back-to-back. They may not be releasing all at once, but I am going to just be, kind of cranking them out, so to speak. So without further ado, let's get to this one. I'm just going to move this mic cable out of the way. It's in the way of my arm. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So this one here is another Kickstarter. This one recently arrived a few days ago. I know other people have received it. And it is from a channel favorite. Well, a personal favorite. Not only is he a fantastic guy, he runs a company. He runs a fantastic company, and also puts out fantastic material. So, if you haven't guessed yet, let's take a look at this and see what we have. So, no trusty Coleman camping steak knife today. We have an easily open envelope here. And carefully sliding this out. Make sure there's no personal information on there like I do. We'll set this aside. And what do we have here? Well, we have a little zine here from Planet X Games from Levi Combs and company, and this was something that he kickstarted a bit ago. And as you can tell by the cover, it focuses on a certain copywritten character or monster from Dungeons and Dragons, a beholder. But as I understand, you cannot directly use that name without getting into certain legal trouble. So what we have here is a supplement for those wonderful monsters called Big Eye Chungus. Let's go ahead and open this up and take a look at it. This video probably won't be too long because it's not a giant zine, but like all things Planet Games, it's not the size of the book, it's the material inside that makes it so great. So, all right, wonderful cover here. Taking a look at it here, we've got Big Eye Chungus. And we've got, a certain interpretation of, one of the, well, I wouldn't say one of the most well-loved monsters. I believe there's kind of a division down the center regarding beholders. A lot of people love them. A lot of people don't like them. But one way to kind of maybe, bring that division, close that gap, so to speak, is to provide new takes, new observations on this this monster that has been around for so long. So, all right, taking a look inside. So, words. Yes, there are some in here. Words. It's written by Levi Combs. Art and design by One Cheese Hasselberger. Pseudonym? Probably. I know that name should ring a bell for me. It's come up in certain conversations, but for the life of me, I just can't recall it now. We have 8G DWS by Casey Christopherson, Bitchin' Space Camaro by Lawrence Hernandez, and the other information here regarding where you can find information on Planet X Games on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and likewise, you can get all of the current products available from Exalted Funeral. So what do we have? Behold! We have a wonderful drawing here of a sassy looking beholder shooting what looks to be a disintegration ray at someone's waist, and, hilarity ensues. So, eye goobers, spheres of many eyes, eldritch observers, evil eyes, oculoids, overseers, watchers in the dark, death perceptors, eye lords, murder balls. They go by many names, but these death-dealing killing murder machines have been handed down TPK since the earliest days of the game. So unanimous is their badassery that they've been doling out player tears and wholesome ass whoopings on a planetary scale since 1975. At their most basic, these creatures represent a real threat to just about any party of dungeon delvers, keenly intelligent, cunning, environment conscious, and possessed of a host of magical abilities which can disable or kill with a single failed saving throw. The Big Eye Chungus is an iconic monster of the highest order. So without further ado, bring on the Big Eye Chungus. All right, so the lowdown on your friendly neighborhood Chungus. I'll just read that real quick. Your typical Big Eye Chungus is 5'7" in diameter and can weigh anywhere between 500 to 800 pounds. They're almost always a large central eye and several small eye stalks situated around its spheroid body, though some may possess variations on the number of eye stalks. A large tooth-filled maw rests underneath the central eye from which the Big Eye Chungus bellows. These creatures float effortlessly at whatever height they desire, fly at surprising speeds, and can make turns at a moment's notice. They range widely in color from a dark brown or dull gray to rust iron hues and on through various shades of purple, green, and maroon. All right, so what do we have in here? So we're going to go, it's going to continue on, going on with probably a bit of a, looks like seems to be a bit of a little ecology on, the Big Eye Chungus, which we'll, call them from this point on. We all know what they really are, trademarked. So, but then it's going to give some additional information. Why are Big Eye Chunguses so badass? Why every single Big Eye Chungus is a dick? Tell it like it is. Yes, this is why I always, just absolutely love the stuff that comes from Planet X Games. The stuff that are inside their books are fantastic. They're humorous. They also can be, they're highly dangerous. They're entertaining. But most importantly, like so many people tend to do these days with some of the games is, at the end of the day, they really don't take themselves too seriously because, we're here to have fun, laugh, and have a good time. And not only do we need to learn to laugh at ourselves more, but sometimes the monsters themselves. So we have a wonderful picture of a Dirk Dastardly type prototypical villain of a Big Eye Chungus with the top hat, the twirly mustache, and Van Dyke beard. That's excellent. So what's one of the reasons? We'll pick one. Why are single Big Eye Chunguses, or why are every single Big Eye Chunguses, why are they a dick? They are the ultimate tyrants, despotic beings who believe their kind was meant to rule everything around them. They are heartless dictators who bend the proverbial knee or eye stalk to no one. So yeah, so we'll have other reasons there. Okay, so variants. So yeah, there's several variants that are already out there regarding Big Eye Chunguses that exist not just within the proprietary material, but I know others have taken their own interpretation of it. But when it comes to monsters, I don't think there can really be too many. It's as opposed to, I don't know. I kind of feel there tends to be a mix between a glut of monsters and what most people would consider like a glut of PC options. People think they want a ton of PC options, but ultimately turns out that, having too many causes this paralysis effect when you're creating a character. But having at your disposal a gigantic variety of monsters, in all through all the bestiaries, for the most part tend to be a positive thing. And so, I mean, there's the variants of monsters within, within D&D role-playing games and other, fantasy role-playing games is a time-honored tradition, and it continues on and on to this day through, certain groups such as my son's group. They have created a variety of monsters themselves based off the foundation of the fan favorites, and they're still as, wonderful and just as creative as they were over the years. So I digress. So inside, you're going to have some what looks to be some options. So we have a Void Chungus, Let's see here. Possibly originating from somewhere beyond the known borders of the celestial cosmos, the Void Chungus is a large sphere of black nothingness, not unlike a sphere of annihilation. Circling its perimeter are 10 small shining pinpoints of light which float amidst its nothingness. The Void Chungus crackles with a quiet hum and seems to absorb any light brought too close to it. So that's a Void Chungus. So it's one of the things that they do. Let's see here. If a rod of cancellation or an actual sphere of annihilation should touch the Void Chungus, a massive eldritch reverb results in a tremendous explosion, dealing 20d6 points of damage to everything in a 60-foot radius. Fantastic. All right. What else do we have here? We have a Nether Chungus. Sometimes referred to as the Demo Chungus, the Nether Chungus is the result of experimentation in dark sorceries in the deepest breeding pits of the lower planes. This monstrosity is essentially a Big Eye Chungus infused with demonic essence, making it a malevolent being of pure rage and hatred who cares for little more than inflicting misery, torment, and pain. Fantastic. All right, so what else we have? We have the Hive Mind Chungus. Oh, boy. The Hive Mind Chungus, sometimes known as the Swarm Chungus, are typically encountered in groups of 40-10 that somewhat resemble others of their kind, having an identical spherical shape and features, but lacking additional eye stalks. Instead, individual Hive Mind Chungus's bodies are taken up with a single glaring eye position over a tiny tooth-filled maw. Oh, God. just the horrific aspect of it all. Chungus of the Wastes. Found only in the most desolate of wasteland, the Chungus of the Waste is a horror beyond imagination, even for experienced, well-armed parties of adventurers. The creature is larger than other of its kind, bloated and chitinous, with rocky hide and a mouthful of serrated shark-like teeth. There's only been one recorded sighting of the Chungus of the Waste by the wizard Elphus of the Secret Fire, who barely escaped with his life after encountering it. Elphus described it as a howling mini-eye monstrosity that would have obliterated me where I stood had I not panicked and it immediately teleported to safety. Take note, adventurers. Fleeing is always an option and sometimes is the best option. Just seeing some of these creatures that exist out in the fantasy role-playing world are good enough. Encountering them, fighting them might be best served on another day. We have a gas spore. I got to say, these illustrations are fantastic, by the way. The gas spore, not an actual Big Eye Chungus by any measure. It is unclear whether the gas spore was brought to this plane by the creature themselves or it was cultivated by them once they got here. All right, so gas spore, what does it do? It explodes for 66 damage, infects target with disease that is fatal within 24 hours unless a cure disease or its equivalent is administered. Those who die sprout 1d4 new gas spores. Oh boy, Ion Chungus, yes. a bizarre aberration from a far-flung crystalline dimension where things are not quite the same as they are on the prime material plane. This strange creature appears much as any other Chungus, but is completely crystalline in nature. Furthermore, it does not have eye stalks, or rather a rotating circlet of 10 whirling gemstones that look and behave as ion stones. Oh boy, wow. Let's see here. Ion Chungus, accident. Their motives and goals remain a complete mystery. What do we have here? Let's see. The Ion Chungus has the following effects. Interesting. So, truth be told, or, I would feel that this would be something of interest to adventurers, especially if the GM allows these eye stalks to retain their abilities, such as ion stones. This would be a grand quest for a group of adventurers that would end with them ultimately fighting this badass monster and getting a large variety, at least some of the of his eye stalks to be utilized. Or this could be the actual way that ion stones are created. In order for you to create an ion stone, you have to obtain one of the rotating eyes of the Ion Chungus. Blind Albino Chungus. A wild and depraved creature wholly unlike its kin that seems motivated strictly by hunger. The blind albino Chungus, also called the Ghost Chungus, is a lethal engine of destruction which can destroy an entire ecosystem in weeks. There are many theories as to why these beings even exist, and none of them are for certain. Fantastic. So let's see. The blind albino chungus does not possess the razor-keen wits of its kin. It does enjoy a certain level of cunning, but only in relation to how it gets its next meal. All right, so we have the Great Chungus, also known as the Celestial Orb, the Eye in the Sky, and the Death Planet. This planetoid-sized aberration of the natural order is one of the more heretical and almost universally rejected creation myths of the Big Eye Chungus Society. The Big Eye Chungus Society, the BECS. I haven't received my newsletter yet, but I did sign up for it, so hopefully it'll be getting here soon. Along with the BECS decoder ring, so I can know what the monthly secret messages are. Let's see. Carrying on. Let's see. This is fantastic. So it is said to be a sentient living world with a breathable atmosphere, feeding off eldritch currents within the phlogiston of space, and when sufficiently fed, can travel about the cosmos. Its motives, goals, and instincts are a mystery. Let's see. One renowned sage suspects the Great Chungus is capable of launching meteor-like polyps into the unknown ocean of space by the thousands. These spore-like sacs hurtle through the Great Gulf until they find a world to inhabit. All right. Now, this right here, this would be something that would be excellent if you were playing, obviously a Spelljammerish type game, not the 5e one, because that is a giant bucket of trash, but other ones like Planar Compass and such. We have the Death Chungus. On a very rare occasion, Big Eye Chungus finds its way into an undead state. As a general rule, all Big Eye Chunguses abhor death as a state of existence and will never willingly embrace it. All right. A Death Chungus does not have the intelligence or cunning inherent in life. They do as they are told by the one who created them and little else. A horror beyond imagining for a living Big Eye Chungus. Clockwork Chungus. Oh, I kind of wish I had the forward-facing camera, because the never-ending smirk that I have on my face would be lighting it up right now. This is great. Okay, single creation by unknown hands at the Citadel of Golden Spells, a nigh unreachable fortress of reclusive wizards. The eldritch clockwork automaton looks exactly as you would expect, resembling a Big Eye Chungus composed of metal plates, multicolored glass lenses, and gears. Let's see here. The Clockwork Chungus hovers somewhere between machine and magic, possessing many of the same physical traits and resistances as a golem does. It is frighteningly deadly opponent, completely without mercy, and controlled by the iron will of the mysterious wizard who created it. All right, so there are some examples of some alternative Chunguses. Now he goes on to talk about the Big Eye Chungus lairs. Let's see here. Random things found in a Big Eye Chungus lair. Oh, let's see here. Oh, I should start carrying dice here for these things, because I know they come up every once in a while. So I'm just going to, how about pick 3? A gaunt, starving goblin trapped inside a suspended wooden cage. It was driven to madness by the cruelty and games that the Big Eye Chungus plays with. Okay. And then here we go. So this helpful stuff for the GM, Big Eye Chungus tactics. Some of the things that, obviously combat can be a bit of a struggle sometimes for GMs, both old and new, and you want to mix it up. You want to make it interesting, and utilizing certain tactics. There's a plethora of books out there, telling you how you should run your monsters and how monsters should react and whatnot. But, just kind of throwing them against a brick wall until either the brick wall falls or they just stop and die themselves is kind of the way that a lot of people tend to handle games. It's roll, hit, miss, roll, hit, roll, back and forth, lob that ball. But even having, just a few bullet points of tactics can really change the, how combat is. May not necessarily make it faster, especially if you're, playing 5e, but at least, the bit of the glut that occurs in 5e combat can remain interesting to keep everyone's attention, especially for those long, drawn-out battles at higher levels, or if you have a large table. So let's pick one. Let's see. If a Big Eye Chungus is wounded and has the opportunity, it flees so it may live to fight another day. Okay, well, let's try another one. It fights only if it must. The Big Eye Chungus prefers to let its charmed servitors and minions do the fighting. When it does have to fight, it offers no quarter and is completely merciless. Okay, and then what else do we have? 10 impolite and downright rude things a Big Chungus would say before it kills or enslaves or petrifies you. Oh, let's see here. Closing my eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, here we are. Your time has come. Worms and vermin will gnaw your bones in the dark. Insects will loot your flesh to feed their young. Fantastic. I have many vices, but mercy is not one of them. Farewell, little thing. Yes, if you're dealing with chunguses, i.e. beholders, they should be as pretentious and, almost comic book evil as you can make them. I mean, these are ridiculous creatures that literally have no reason to exist other than just make, the world a horrible place for your players. And, just make them just obnoxious, full of themselves. As I said, comic book evil in all aspects and regards. And they should be James Bond evil when you're dealing with them. Big Eye Chungus adventure hooks. All right, let's see here. We'll read one. A Big Eye Chungus has made its lair in the wild hinterlands on the outskirts of civilization. It has been quietly plotting and gathering resources. It has a retinue of creatures and guardian monsters who have been lured into its vicinity and then charmed into service. It plans to overtake the nearest settlement and enslave its inhabitants. But what then? And then we conclude with one of the wonderful inserts that are included in most Planet X games. They have these humorous little advertisements that reflect some of the old comic book advertisements of old. The insult that made a man out of Throngor. Yes, like what was the Atlas bodybuilding? Kick that sand in the wimp's face, do some heavy lifting, and soon everyone will hear the lamentations of their women. Oh wow, that's fantastic. Okay, so we have a bit of a biological cutaway, anatomical. Sorry, it's a little early here. Beautiful drawing here, and kind of cutting off the different parts. And concluding an all-new scene dedicated to the most badass monster to ever float through the halls of a dungeon. So, that is Big Eye Chungus, another supplement from Planet X Games that can be utilized, for 5e, for your OSR game, or any fantasy role-playing game. Most everything in here is kind of geared towards the D&D aesthetic, statistically wise, but it doesn't really mean that you can't use it for anything else. And just the information in here, I'm sure, it's a short read, but I'm sure the information in here is fantastic, helpful, and something that can really, supplement your game, especially when you're dealing with beholders. Big Eye Chungus. And I mean, these are the wonderful things that tend to come out from Planet X Games. Almost like a assembly line. I mean, these guys I think there's another Kickstarter that they recently come out with. And these supplements and the adventures and the things that they do, they never fail to disappoint, whether it's, it's a small little scene or a large adventure that you get. So check them out. Information to get to them will be in the description, but you can do a Google search for Planet X Games very easily. Go to Exalted Funeral. If you're looking to supplement your 5e games with some really creative and imaginative adventures, if you're looking for stuff to also supplement your OSR game or just role-playing games in general, check them out. Big fan, obviously. Big fan, and definitely need to see about getting Levi back onto the Titterpigs podcast again, or maybe just have a one-on-one chat with him, here on my channel. So that has been yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. My name is Scott. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you feel so inclined, please go ahead and subscribe, give a like, all the typical stuff that people want you to do. Whatever. I do this for fun. I don't really do this for the views, but it is nice to to watch the channel grow. And if I had any sort of goal within it, is I wouldn't mind getting one day at least getting to maybe 1,000 followers, because that allows me to interact directly with the followers on YouTube, utilizing their community thing. But they have that behind a view and user wall, so to speak. So once you obtain that, they open it up to you. But for now, comments, following me on Twitter at Hail Orchistorchis, or, however way you communicate with me is just fine. So there you are. Until next time, have a wonderful day.